says I'm live. There we go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Faulty. You are either watching this on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. So thank you for joining and welcome. I hope you enjoy this video. Today we're here to talk about the Clairs. So I'm doing an 8-video series on all of the different Clairs. And the first few videos were probably ones that people had already heard about, clairvoyance and things like that. Maybe not under that name, they might not recognize it, but people, when you say you can hear spirits or see spirits, people are, pretty familiar with that. Whether they accept it or not, that's a whole other thing, but they're familiar with it. And there's other gifts that we have that I think people are not so aware of. And so I really wanted to learn myself what these were, so that I would understand whether or not I had these gifts. If I did, what would I want to do with them? How would I want to proceed? Maybe how would I want to block them, or maybe how would I want to enhance them? And a lot of times when I'm learning something, I find, I guess, that I'm learning it for a reason. And when I learn things, I like to share them with you guys. And I know I've said many times, but I'll say it in this video as well. I'm no expert on any of these things. I just like to learn. I like to, read and answer all the questions that I have in my mind. And I just thought, maybe if I'm interested in all of this stuff, maybe other people are interested in it as well. And, maybe I can be helpful and share that information that I have learned with them. Again, I don't claim to be a professional, an expert, any of those things. I don't claim to have all of the answers. Just the opposite. I usually encourage people, if I say something that resonates with you, and that you find interesting, or that you're like, oh, I think I might have that, or I might have had that, or I might experience that, or whatever the topic we're talking about, I encourage you to go out and do some of your own research and come up with your own conclusion, and what fits you the best, because we're all different and we're all going to see things a little different, and you're not going to agree with everything that I believe in or how I think things work, but there may be some things that you do. But as always, I always encourage you, have multiple sources of learning. I don't think you need to go out and have like 10 different people that you watch on the videos. But I think it's good to have, 2, maybe 3 people, and you'll go through the same thing I did. Going on a little tangent here this morning. When I first started learning, I subscribed to all these different people on YouTube. I must have subscribed to probably a half a dozen different, actually probably more than, probably a dozen people. And as I kind of started to watch the video, I'm like, I don't think I want to watch this one anymore. This one's really not resonating with me, whatever. And I dwindled them down to, the couple that I wanted to keep. And you'll go through the same thing, if you find something I said interesting and you want to learn more about it, go to YouTube, type it in. You'll probably get 500 videos, and you'll have to kind of dwindle it down, and eventually you'll come across a couple of people that you're like, okay, I really like this lady or guy, and I really want to continue to watch their videos. A lot of them are different from me, and a lot of them may be the same or similar, should say, not the same, similar to me. So just find who resonates best with you. I mean, I had a lady that I watched, and she had really great information. I'll be honest with you, her voice was horrible. And I'm like, I just can't listen to this lady. It was bad. But yeah, I couldn't, I don't even want to watch her videos because her voice was so bad. And that's mean to say, but it's true. I'm like, okay, I just can't watch this video. And she had good information, but I just couldn't deal with it. It was so you'll go through the same thing. If you're interested in learning more, you'll go through the same thing and dwindle it down until you pick a couple of people that you want to keep subscribing to. I mean, even mine change. 2 years ago, the couple of people that I follow are different than the couple of people that I follow now. As education goes, when I first started learning, sorry, we're not even getting close to talking about Clairempathy here. When I first started learning, I wanted to know everything about everything. And then over the years, I've kind of said, okay, this is really what I want to focus on now. And I've started to focus my stuff. So it's like the same thing as the videos. You start out with a bunch. Like when I first started out, I wanted to know everything. And then as time goes, I've kind of dwindled it down. And I'm like, okay, this is what I want to focus on. But anyway, I won't continue with my stories of YouTube searches. We'll get started here on what we're supposed to actually be talking about, which is Clairempathy. So like I was saying, it's an 8-video series. This is 7. So if you did not see the other ones, you can go back to the Facebook page, or you can go to YouTube channel and find it. On the YouTube channel, there is a group of it, they call it a playlist, that has all of the 6 so far, and later today it will have this one as well. So they're all in one convenient place for you to find. So Clairempathy, this is one of those ones where I think a lot of people know about it, but I don't know necessarily if a lot of people really understand what it is. You'll hear people all the time saying, I think I'm an empath. I think I'm an empath. And 99% of the time, I will tell you, if you think you are, you probably are. But an empath is one of the things where I think you need to do a little bit of research, because I think it's just a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge, and that's what these videos are for. So when I first started learning all the metaphysical stuff, and I went to a couple of different local events when we were still having local events, and the lady there, she's like, oh, you're an empath. And I had a couple of other people in the past tell me as well, oh, you're probably an empath. And I kept thinking, like, at first I was like, oh, yay, I'm something, I have a special gift, I'm one of the wonderful people. And then as I learned and understood and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, we all have gifts. Just some of us have an easier time using them than others, and I'm not super special in that way. I think we're all special in our own way, but I'm not special as like, okay, I have a Clair gift, because we all have the ability to use all 8 of these Clairs. Some of us just come by them more naturally than others. So anyway, people kept telling me I think you're an empath. I think you're an empath. And so I started reading all kinds of stuff on empaths. And I was like, okay, well, that kind of fits, but that doesn't, and that kind of does, and that doesn't. And I'm like, the more I learned, I was like, I don't think I'm an empath, because this stuff really doesn't fit me. So again, a lot of people may have told you that you're an empath, or you may think you're an empath, and I'm not saying that you're not, but I'm just saying, if you haven't watched the other videos in this series, I encourage you to do that, so maybe you can better understand. So my gift was not empathy, it was intuition. And they're very closely related, and so it was kind of hard to figure out, okay, what's really going on here. And so let's talk about Clairempathy. And if you think you're Clairempathy, certainly watch this video. If you think you may have some of the other Clairs, go back and watch some of the other videos. If you're not sure if you have Clairempathy, you should watch this video. So, Clairempathy is clear emotional feeling. And again, everybody kept telling me that was me, and I kept feeling like, no, that's not me. I have senses of things, but I'm not picking up emotions. And I have a little example we'll go back to in a second, and I will read it and go over it. So, clear emotional feeling. So what does that mean? So it means that you are sensitive to the energetic vibrations of emotions, attitudes, and physical ailments. Now, this can come with people, places, animals, and objects. So I know that's a little weird, but most times it's people that we're picking up on. Empaths are picking up on. I say we, but it's not me. But most empaths are picking up on other people, but you can pick up on places, objects, and animals, which is, I think, kind of cool. So the emotions will be hard to discern whether they're yours or someone else's. I know a couple of empaths, and I'm usually reminding them, like, is it yours or is it someone else's? Like, so for example, somebody I know that's an empath woke up in the middle of the night and was just terrified that someone was in the house. No reason, no explanation, no, like, there was no noise, there was no nothing. The house is safe, the house is locked, never had a burglar before, and was just petrified that there was someone in the house. And I said to her, I don't think that was yours. I think you were picking up on somebody else. Now, who that was or what it was or how she picked it up from a different household, I'm not really sure. But I don't think that was hers. So, sometimes it's very hard as an empath to discern what emotions are yours and what are not yours. And, my suggestion for empaths is always to just sit down for a minute and think about it. So when we've talked about our own emotions before, we talked about sit down and feel it, process it, and breathe through it, let it go, kind of thing. And so for an empath, it's kind of like sit down and decide whether this is yours or not. Is this my emotion? Is this rational that I am feeling this at this time? Did this come out of nowhere? Have I been feeling this way for a while? Things like to kind of figure out if it's really your feelings or if it's the feelings of someone else. But they can be very hard to differentiate. So, because the emotions are like, it's not even like you're receiving the energy, not like a radio is receiving. It's like you're actually even like absorbing it into you. So it's like the energies that are around you are like you're absorbing them like a sponge, and you're collecting them all. And it can be very hard to deal with as an empath, especially if you are, in a group of a large people, or you may not be in large groups of people, but you may throughout the day come across several different people, things of that sort, and you can absorb all of their emotions. And going through the day, you can be an emotional wreck, and none of the emotions are yours. So lots to cover here, and I'm trying not to get sidetracked, but I haven't been doing very good at that. So you can pick up on emotions. You can also pick up on physical symptoms as an empath. So if someone's not feeling well, you may pick up that. If someone's got like a bad knee, and whenever you're around them, you're like, oh God, my knee really hurts. And then when you move away from them, your knee stops hurting. So there's things like that you can pick up. The part with the empaths is, unfortunately, when you're absorbing so many other people's emotions, the world outside right now is very hectic, very chaotic. There's a lot of people out there that are very stressful. People that with a lot of anxiety, people with depression, people with anger. The world is not necessarily full of happy, joyful people. Not to say that they don't experience happiness and joy, but I think, when you're out and about and you're stressed that you have to be in the store, you're stressed that you have to get groceries, you might be anxious about being in the store, you might be mad because of the guy that just cut you off before you got to the grocery store, all of those things. So when you're encountering, as an empath, when you're encountering people in your everyday lives, chances are they're probably not going to all be happy, shiny people right then at that moment. And that can make it very easy for an empath to just sit in anger or sadness, depression, and have a hard time coming back out of that, realizing that this is not mine. I need to let it go, and I need to, feel my own feelings. So unfortunately, a lot of what empaths are picking up on, especially right now, is a lot of negative energy, a lot of negative emotions. Um, so you can sense those around you, and sometimes, again, it could be a little bit further. If you have a connection with someone, you may be able to kind of pick up on their emotions from farther away, which is what I think happened to that other lady that I was just talking about. You can pick up on emotions from, like I said, animals. So it'd be the same thing. Being around an animal, you can kind of sense if um, you can pick up on their emotions of whether or not they're happy or sad, or, I think as an empath, the best thing you can have is a puppy dog who is super excited to see you when you come through the door, and they're full of happiness and joy, and their tail is wagging, and you're going to pick up on that and help get rid of all the negative energies that have come through the day to you. So, you know, I think as an empath, wanting to have some animals around would be a really good way to kind of counteract some of the people energy that you come across in a day. Um, let's see here. You can also kind of be like a human lie detector. You can pick up kind of the emotion of when people are lying. So, you know, a lot of people can tell someone's lying by either their physical, like their body motions, their facial expressions. They might have like a poker face tell kind of thing. But as an empath, it's more as you can feel their emotion of them lying. When people lie, they tend to, I think, feel kind of guilty. I guess that's, I try not to lie to people. So, just really, I'm really, really not good at lying. I have no poker face. I have no, I'm like, if I try to lie, like everybody in the room is going to know that I'm lying. I'm not a good liar. So if I had to save my own life by lying, I probably would not live. Um, but people that I think, lie might be feeling guilty or shameful or embarrassed. I think sometimes people lie because they're embarrassed or ashamed. They didn't do something. They say they didn't do something they did, and it's, usually embarrassment or shame or something. And so as an empath, you can feel that. Um, then, like I said earlier, you can pick up on people's physical pain, physical ailments, so to speak. So I said like the knee pain, but it could be even more like if someone has like digestive problems, you could pick up on that, which wouldn't be super fun. If someone's having a sore throat, you may pick up on that. You may be like, oh, my throat all of a sudden doesn't feel very well. And then, you throughout the day, you've moved away from this person, and then your throat doesn't hurt anymore. One of the things I've talked about before is if you're trying to figure out which Clair you have and how it works for you, is to keep a journal with you, and to write down these little weird things that happen to you. So if you go stand next to your Aunt Betty and your throat is really sore, and then you leave Aunt Betty and your throat's not sore anymore, and then a couple days later you go back and see Aunt Betty and your throat's sore again, you can start to see like, okay, this is kind of what's going on. And as an empath, it even kind of goes a step further, because Aunt Betty may not know something's wrong with her throat. You may be picking up on it, even though she's not. So, yeah, there's that. So if you turn around and say, well, Aunt Betty, is your throat sore? And she's like, no, my throat's fine. It could be something is wrong with her throat, and she hasn't picked up on it yet, but you have. And that will come with depending on how your gift works for you, how strong your gift is, how much you work with your gift. The more you work with it, the better you'll be at it. And the more you journal and see your patterns and see how things work for you and stuff, you'll really get a really good understanding of how it works for you. I'm giving kind of explanations and examples that are very basic. And again, they can be different for different people. You may only pick up on physical things and not emotional things. You may pick up on only emotional things and not physical things. You may pick up on both. Your empathy may only work with animals and not people. There's so many different variations of how it could work for you. So again, if you're really not sure, even if you are sure, or you think you're sure, just still keep a journal and kind of keep track of it over, a couple of weeks and see what you can learn from it. Some empaths even go beyond that and have a healing gift. They can help soothe people. It's kind of like, I'm sure you've all seen this on TV at some movie, where the healer takes it into themselves and heals the other person, kind of thing. It's kind of similar to that, but you can kind of absorb, you can learn and train yourself how to absorb the energy and kind of free them from it. Then you have to realize that you need to then clear yourself and get rid of it and not hold on to it. That's the part where I think a lot of empaths get stuck, but we'll get to that as well. A lot of empaths go into a line of service of some sort. They may become, I wrote down my list here, right here. They may become first responders, so ambulance people, firefighter people, EMTs, things like that. They may become God, I can't even talk, alternative medicine. So it may become like a holistic healer, things of that sort. But I think another one that is a lot of empaths is a therapist. Now, whether or not you're a licensed therapist or not, I think empaths who are very well aware of their gift and are very well trained in how to work with their gift will be great ways for working with people to help them through times that are hard for them. And not just by absorbing it and I don't think that's a necessary tool to have as an empath. I think as an empath, being able to feel what they're feeling and really understand how they feel would be very beneficial for you to be like, okay, I understand what you're feeling. I know what you're going through. this is, some of the things we're going to work on. This is some of the things we're going to talk about. These are things I can help you with. And, so you can really be a great therapist, even if you're not like a licensed therapist. You don't have to have an office where somebody comes and makes an appointment for you. I think just as human beings, we can, empaths will make very good therapists and help people through some rough times that we're having right now. The trick with an empath, though, is they have to get a hold of their gifts, because so many of the empaths that I have met, so many of them I have met are so weighted down with anxiety and depression that they can't come there. They can come back, but they're not coming back. They're having a really hard time coming back out of it, and so it's leaving them in a state of that depressed, sad, anxiety place, and they're not much service that way. And all of our gifts, I think, are just that. They're gifts. They're here for us to help each other in some way. And I think empaths are very important to help other people process things. And but over time, again, we've lost our education on these things. We've been told that they're not real, or they don't exist, or it's just in our heads and whatnot. And so the people out there that are empaths are not prepared. They don't have the tools in their tool belt that they need to deal with these things, and to be prepared to live a healthy, productive life, and to be able to use that gift in a healthy, productive way. And right now, they're just kind of stuck in that eternal bog of depression, because they don't know what's going on and they don't know how to get out of it. So let's see if I got time here. I got a few minutes. When I was doing research, like I said, empaths can come very different to a lot of different people. And so I actually found a list, and I don't know, this list, I only found it on one site, so it wasn't like a very, I couldn't type it in and find multiple things on this. I didn't really search too hard, though, but I found this list, and I thought, well, this is really interesting. I'm going to share this. I'm not going to go over each and every one of them, because we just don't have time for that. But I'm going to go through them really quickly. And if it's something that you think, resonates with you, or just sounds like, okay, that's really what I think I have, then I welcome you to, do some research on your own about it. But I came across this list that this lady had made, she had several articles on empaths, being empathic. Actually, she had some articles on some of the other Clairs as well, but and she broke down empaths into 19 categories. Yeah, 19. So when I say that your gift could be different for you, that just goes to show that, yeah, this lady has broken it down into 19 different kinds of empaths that you could possibly be. So I'm going to go through them really quick, and list them off. And like I said, if one of these resonates with you, I invite you to do your own research. If you want, you can, comment down below or private message me and say, listen, I think this might be me, and I will certainly help you dig and get some information and see if maybe that does fit for you. So when I say do your own research, that doesn't mean I'm not willing to help. I'm always willing to help. If you ever have questions or want more information, I'm always willing to help. But just know that I don't have to be your only resource. So anyway, the list of the 19 different categories this lady has broke down empaths. And I should have wrote down her name to give her credit for that, but I apologize, I did not. Emotional empath, which we have talked about, that you pick up on emotions. Medical empath, aches, pains, etc. I can't read my own writing. So that's when you pick up on, like as we were talking about, the sore throat or the sore knee, things like that. Animal empath, so you can feel the animal's emotions. I can't read my own writing. Intellectual empath, so that's where you pick up on more of people's perspectives than their emotions. A nature empath, which you pick up on, self, earth, and being one. And again, these are really quick descriptions, so if you want more information, you can let me know, or just do some Googling yourself. Flora empath, so that's where you can pick up the emotions of the plants, which I thought that was really cool. That'd be neat to have. A precognitive empath, so that's when you experience a lot of deja vu. Environmental empath, and that's where you can feel the emotions of a room or a space. Geometric empath, and that's where you can feel natural disasters. Spiritual empath, have a sense of your higher self, higher power. Claircognizant empath, and so we've talked about claircognizant, and so you can go back and watch that. Medium empath, which this is where I kind of like, I wouldn't put medium down as an empath. I think medium falls in a different category of the clairs, but again, you can do your own research and see what resonates with you. But I wrote down all 19. She had a list of 19, so I said, well, I'll take her 19 and write them down. Psychometric empath, that's where you're picking up on objects. Crystal empath. This one I really found interesting because I have known people who will pick up a crystal and like they can't hold it because it's too much. I know people that have picked up crystals and they almost like fall over. They're like, whoa. So I thought that was interesting. So I have a couple of people that I know that, and I'm gonna do a little research on the crystal empath and share that knowledge with them. So I have a couple of friends that I know that are like that. When they pick up a crystal, they're like, whoa, or they get like, I can't hold this. This is too much energy. I gotta put this down. Telepathic empath. So that's what they're considering like a mind reader. So more like you pick up on their thoughts than their emotions. Mechanical empath is where you have the natural ability to just take objects, machines, and fix them. Astral empath is, she's saying, is you can pick up on the fairies, the angels, aliens, things of that sort. A law enforcement empath is one who uses their gifts to solve crimes. So they sense things and use that in some way to solve crimes. A molecular empath, and that's when you sense a person's essence. So again, not going to go real deep into any of those. Some of them, like I said, I don't necessarily think they fall in the category of an empath, but I'll let you decide that for yourself. Just because I don't think that doesn't mean you don't have to think that. But so that's the list of the 19. I've got just a few minutes because I wanted to go back to one that I had talked about in a video before. It was the one for the clairtangency video, and I just thought this example was a really good example, and I wanted to just kind of go over it again to kind of help understand what things are. So the example that I spoke of in that particular video was if you picked up say you picked up a mirror right here. So if you were in an antique store or grandmother's bedroom, I don't know, not many people have little mirrors around, but I do. But if you picked up a mirror, and in picking up the mirror, you see a vision of an old woman. that is going to put you in the clairvoyant section. If you pick up the mirror and you know she is sad, then that's going to put you in the claircognizant category. If you pick up the mirror and you feel her sadness, that's putting you in the clairempathy category. If you can smell maybe the old woman's perfume or her bedroom, smell something in her room, that's going to put you in the clairscent category. Now, that doesn't go over all 8 clairs, but it kind of gives you an idea of how picking up an object can trigger something for you. And from there, you have to really concentrate and dig down and find out what it was. Did you see the old lady in your mind's eye? Did you just know she was sad? Like, you just like, oh, this lady that had this was so sad. You just know it. But I'm not feeling sad. I just know she was sad. Or if you actually pick up on her sadness, or if you smell her perfume, or maybe her soap, or something like that. So that just kind of goes to show how you really need to, like I said, if you keep that journal with you or keep track, put it in a notes section in your phone, whatever works for you, and just kind of keep track of when things are happening and what happens and maybe what you were doing or who you were with, or did you pick up something, did you lean on something, did you touch somebody, things of that sort. So because it can be tricky to kind of figure out which one of these categories you fall in. And maybe you're one of those people who you're like, you know what, I really don't care what the label is. I really don't care what category I'm in. I can just do these things and that's okay with me. Then that's great too. I'm somebody who I want to know all the answers. I want to know why, how come, how to make it better, how to make it go away. All those things. And if you're just somebody who's like, yeah, this is who I am and I don't care what you call it and I just do what I do, that's great. You probably sleep much better than I do because my brain doesn't stop with stupid questions all night long. But yeah, so wrapping it up, oops, almost wiped out my whole desk here. Wrapping it up, one of the things I really want to talk about for a Clair Empath, and I have a video that I did a year or 2 ago about creating a bubble, and I will certainly go ahead and get that video link in the comments for you, because I really think that is like the biggest thing right now with empaths is, like I said earlier, this is information that should have been passed down from grandmother to granddaughter to grandmother to granddaughter and so on and so forth. And somewhere along the line that stopped. And so those of us who have these gifts, who should have known as a small child what these gifts were, and they would have had a mother or a grandmother that would have worked with them and helped them, and as adults they would have been very well prepared for whatever their gift is. We've lost that. So we have all these people out there with all these different gifts that they don't understand what they are. They don't understand what they're used for. They don't understand how to stop it, or they don't understand how to make it, work more with it. And there's just a lot of questions out there that people have because of that lack of lineage education that got lost. And I really think, in my opinion, empaths have it the hardest. Of having to be a person who is absorbing all these energies around us. And, at this time in our lives, this era that we're in, a lot of those energies outside our doors are not necessarily happy, joyful energies. And so they're absorbing all this and then they don't know what to do with it. If they don't understand anything about the metaphysical world, They don't understand anything about the clairs. They don't understand anything about being an empath. And they're absorbing all this energy, these negative energy around us. They're going to be very sad and very depressed, and they're not going to know what to do. Most of them will just isolate themselves and not go around other people. So if that sounds like you, you know, like I said, keep a journal and do some of your own research. Ask me as many questions as you want to ask me. I will certainly put the video up about creating your bubble to helping you shield from some of those energies that you don't want, and how you can shed the energies that you don't want. So that leads me into the crystals and the herbs section of this video before we wrap up today. Typically, when I'm giving you herbs and crystals and oils suggestions, it's to enhance your gifts. It is to help you work with these gifts. Now, an empath, I think, is a little different, and I think their biggest things that they probably need right now is clearing items and not enhancing items. But if you do want to enhance if you think you're an empath and you want to work with that energy more, clear quartz. It's a little clear quartz cluster I have here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all stuck together. So it's one of my favorite pieces. You can always work with quartz. You know, any kind of quartz. I love my quartz. I have many pieces of quartz. I have lots of quartz. But anyway, quartz is, if you ever want to work with something and enhancing it, amplifying it, making it stronger, quartz is always a first pick. You know, you can always pick other stones that are geared towards more of a specific thing, but if you ever want to work with something to enhance it, quartz is always a good choice. But for the empaths, for the crystals and herbs that I picked for today, I did pick ones that are more of a clearing, that's going to help them clear out the emotions that they're picking up. So, hematite, selenite, emerald, black tourmaline. Sorry, let me go back through this. Let me go through the clearing stones, and I wrote them all down together. The clearing stones: hematite, selenite, black tourmaline, blue kyanite, shungite, and smoky quartz, which smoky quartz just happened to be, if you saw my video on Monday, smoky quartz was our crystal of today. So, smoky quartz. So again, clearing stones: hematite, selenite, black tourmaline, blue kyanite, shungite, and smoky quartz. If you want to work enhancing them, you can work with some emerald, some amethyst, or some quartz. So smoky quartz is clearing, regular quartz is amplifying. So just remember that, okay? And lastly, a couple of herbs. Now, as far as herbs go, there are more than I could list and go over right now of clearing herbs. There are a ton of different herbs that will help clear. And you've probably seen some of the video, the memes about the different smudge bundles you can use. So juniper, cedar, mugwort, sage. There's a lot of different ones you can use. So those would all be really good to help clear. But some of the other ones I wrote down, I wrote some that maybe people wouldn't necessarily think of, is just some basil, some black pepper, cayenne, clove. I really, for some reason, I'm really being drawn to clove right now. I want to use clove in everything, so I don't know what that's about. But garlic and leeks. So yeah, even a leek. There was a lot more, but I just picked a few. That are very clearing. So if you want to, be clearing, those are really good ones to use. The things with the herbs is, you can incorporate those. You don't have to have a smudge bundle for it. You don't have to tie it up, dry it and tie it up and burn it. These will work even just by consumption. So whatever the herbs are, you could make teas. You could just use, if you're just using some basil and some black pepper in your cooking, you're helping yourself as an empath clear some of that energy that way. Cayenne will do it as well. I'm not a spicy person, so I'm not going to be using any cayenne, but you could use some cayenne. Like I said, right now I'm really drawn to clove. I'm not really sure why. Usually clove I really like around like Mabon and Samhain time, but for some reason I really want clove around right now, which is weird because it's like the wrong time for clove. But anyway, um, so yeah, so those are some of the things you can work with, um, and I think as um, trusting your own intuition is a big thing as well. So if you think, if you commented and said, I'm working with Moldavite, I don't know, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And you're like, I really think this is helping me in my clearing. Okay, I probably wouldn't suggest Moldavite, but if you think it's helping you, then, and your intuition's telling you to use that, then I'm going to say go ahead and use that. Um, so everything can be different for different people, um, which makes it very hard for the metaphysical world because I know somebody who just wants an answer, like, this is my problem, give me an answer. And I'm like, my answer might not be your answer. And that like doesn't resonate with, like, they can't comprehend that. Sometimes they're like, yeah, but just give me the answer to fix this. And I'm like, yeah, but my solution may not be your solution, or the way things come for me may not be the way things come for you. And so I can't just say this is the way I do it and it's going to work for you. I can tell you, this is the way I do it, and if you want to try it and see if it works for you, and if not, come back to me and we'll do some investigating and we'll figure out something else, to try. Um, but yeah, there's no one answer for any question in the metaphysical world as far as I'm concerned. There are so many different possibilities. There are so many different ways things come for different people. And there's really no, like I said, there's really just no one answer. There's, things that work for me that I can tell you work for me, and hopefully they'll work for you. But if not, then we'll just keep digging and find something that does. So anyway, if you think you are a Clair Empath, my biggest suggestion to you is really learn about cleansing and clearing. Now, what clearing crystals? Um, I've done one about bath salts. So if you want to do, you know, showering, bathing, um, going in water is naturally cleansing. I mean, I know we go in there to get clean, but going in the water is cleansing. It does help energetically cleanse you. So, showers, baths, working with clearing herbs and oils in your bath is really good. Um, I like to have the salt scrubs. I don't have a bathtub, so I make a lot of salt scrubs and I use them in the shower and do that and work with the salt and the herbs that and the oils that way. You can use it in your cooking. You can use it for teas. You can have incense. You can have smudge bundles. You can. I have a simmer pot that I like to keep on the stove. It has right now. It's got cinnamon and clove and some bay leaves and some orange slices in it on my stove. I like to have a simmer pot going most of the time when I'm home. There's so many different ways that you can work with things, and just figuring out the best things that work for you. Um, and if you're somebody who likes to be just super simple, light an incense and good. If you're somebody who likes to sit down and meditate and smudge and all that, that's fine too. Like I said, there's no one answer. It's whatever feels right for you. So, but yeah, certainly, again, can't say this enough. If you have questions, please put them in the comments, or if you feel better private messaging me, that's fine as well. But yes, my biggest takeaway for anybody who thinks they're an empath is to learn to create your bubble and work with clearing items. So whatever that may be, herbs, oils, stones, baths, smudging, whatever it is, and do it often. So, and get a puppy. That'll be happy to see you when you come through the door, and you can pick up on their happy, positive, loving energy when you come through the door from being outside with all the muggle people that are grumpy and grumpy and miserable most of the time. So, all right, so I'm going to head off to my muggle job. Unfortunately, I'd rather much stay here and talk with you guys and play with crystals and make crafts, but I have to go to work. So I'll see you guys all back here on Monday morning at 7:15 for our weekly forecast. And next week we have 3 videos again. So we have Monday for the weekly forecast. We have Thursday for our last video of the Clair series. And then on Friday we have full moon. And just want to say that we don't perform ritual. We will talk about things you can do for full moon. We'll talk about different things you can work with on the full moon. And we're going to usually do some sort of fun little craft. So there are a bazillion different videos out there of doing ritual. And I didn't really feel the need to compete with that or to add more of that out there. There's already plenty of that. So I felt myself like if I don't want to go watch a 2-hour long video of a ritual, I just want to know, like, okay, what should I be working on? How should I be working on it? And what tools should I be using? So that's kind of what I help with is, just the basics of what you need. And then you can go do your own ritual if you don't want to watch a YouTube video ritual or sign up for a membership or any of that. If you just like, okay, I know it's full moon and I know I'm supposed to be doing something, but I really don't know what. We'll go over herbs, oils, crystals, whether, it's in setting attention or clearing or releasing or, whatever it is for that occasion. We'll be going over that. So that will be on Friday, and those will all be at 7:15. They'll all be saved on Facebook, and they'll all be uploaded onto YouTube for whenever you want to watch them. And I'm just going to finish off with the whole like, share, subscribe, invite your friends, share to your friends, tag your friends, whatever. So with that being said, thank you for watching. And remember, be kind today. Your kindness not only is going to improve your day, it's going to it could potentially improve somebody else's day, and it could potentially change their life for the better. So your small act of kindness could change around someone's life for them. So, and it doesn't cost us anything. So lots of love. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.